That's a really good question. I test a bunch of factors and experiment in different ways. Has this been done before? How did they come up with this idea? I did not have the intention of actually becoming a YouTuber. There's not a lot of people on YouTube who are okay with showing that they are.
I'm your host, Emily Quezada, and this is Let's Talk About It. Joining me on the show today is none other than the Shorts Queen herself, Jenny Hoyos. In just 3 years, she has built a YouTube following of over 5.4 million subscribers with almost 2 billion views in the last month. During our conversation today, Jenny shares her process for coming up with viral video ideas and how she creates compelling stories. So without further ado, here's Jenny Hoyos. First of all, Jenny, thank you for joining me on my show. I'm really excited to talk to you and learn a little bit more about your journey on YouTube and just hearing everything about that.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Okay, so when I first came across your channel earlier this year, I was instantly hooked because you have a really unique creativity about your channel. So I was like, I have to learn a lot more about you. And actually, your channel helps me with my own channel.
I
So I
love
wanted
that.
to know, where do you get your inspiration from?
Oh, I mean, I take inspiration everywhere. I'm very inspired by every YouTuber. I mean, Mr. Beast, Ryan Trahan, Eric, anyone who's successful in this career. I'm very inspired. As for my style, I would say I take huge inspiration from Ryan Trahan. I love his authenticness, and I love incorporating character into my videos while also optimizing like Mr. Beast.
Yeah, I can definitely see that in your videos. So following up with that, let's use your example. I mean, your video, I built a secret room for $0. So that one I thought was really fun and
Yes.
cool. So I noticed that it's a trend on YouTube. I don't know if it's still going on, but I've seen a couple videos like that. And but you were able to make it not just like, oh, I'm going to follow a trend, but I'm going to create an engaging story throughout the whole thing within I don't know, 30 seconds to 60 seconds, which is very short to create an entire story. So using that as an example, can you share your process for coming up with a video idea to actually creating a story combined with it?
Yeah, I love that. So when it comes to thinking of an idea, I think of the most relatable thing. In this case, it is a secret room. It is something that is every kid's dream.
Mhm.
So it was pretty simple to come up with that. But also on top of that, that helps with coming up with ideas is looking at trends, like you were saying. And secret rooms are all over YouTube. So one, it's a childhood dream and it's a trend. Amazing idea. So yeah, that was the process as far as coming up with the idea. And as for incorporating and building that story, I knew that people would always, talk about the process of building this room, which I incorporated, but I wanted to add my own unique twist by having what's called a B plot in stories, which
Mhm.
is a second story that's happening to have additional conflict. So there's the conflict of me making this room, but on top of that, my mom is mad at me for making a hole in the wall. And I think that's what made the video stand out, is because we had that B plot and extra conflict that others are missing.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with you in that aspect. I've watched a couple other of the Built a Secret Room videos, and although they were good, I really like the storytelling element that you add in there because you're not just showing the process. Like you said, oh, I'm building a secret room. It's like, okay, now I know you're going to build a secret room, but now I have something to look forward to. That's not just the secret room. It's like, oh,
Exactly.
you got to hurry up and get this
Give
room
them as
done before
many
your mom
reasons to
gets home.
care as well.
Yeah, yeah, so I think you do a very good job at that.
Yes.
You are known as the shorts queen on YouTube. For obvious reasons, you figured out a system to make your YouTube shorts consistently go viral, right? And obviously, it didn't happen overnight. Where would you say you learned the most information to help you create this really good system?
That's a really good question. No, I really like that question because it's that's the most important thing. Not just learning things, but how do you learn, right?
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I learned a lot just consuming YouTube like
Mhm.
crazy, but not just watching videos for fun, but I would break down every video. I mean, I would pull the transcripts of a bunch of shorts and analyze why they scripted videos a certain way. and it would be like these top performing shorts, and I would like rearrange the script and be like, would it have been better this way? Like, why did they do it this way? And I'd keep rearranging it. And sometimes it's funny because it's not about just copying them, but like understand
Mhm.
their reasoning behind things, and then even sometimes like realizing like, oh, maybe they could have done it like this instead. So
Yeah.
I learned actually just breaking down other people's videos, and then also running a bunch of tests and experiments on my channel. I mean, I test a bunch of factors and experiment in different ways. Like I like when I first started, I would keep the same format in every video, but just change the hooks, and then everything else stays the same. So that when I look at the retention, I can see, I can compare apples to apples, basically,
Yeah.
and that's how I learned.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you just use a bunch of different strategies, see which ones worked for you, and then that's kind of how like you were able to create the system. Do you still analyze other content to see how you could make your videos better? Even though they're so good right now, you could always learn more.
Oh yeah. I'm always watching like for like these viral videos. But I will say now, like the thing that I look for the most is understanding like before like I did that to study story, I would break down their scripts. I don't really break down scripts anymore. Now I am like
Mhm.
breaking down the thought process behind ideas, and like I would see a video be made, and then I'll analyze it and try to find like, well, has this been done before? Has it been done before? Where did they? How did they come up with this idea? That is what I've been analyzing the most recently, while also doing my own experiments.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. I haven't really thought about a process like that, but it works, obviously.
It takes up a lot of
Yeah.
time, which is why we don't post very often. But yeah, it's very effective for learning, and I'm always learning.
Yeah. I find that sometimes, well, I think when you post so much, sometimes it leaves a little less room for you to learn other things because you don't have as much time. And then sometimes, the quality does help. But I think like over time, when you've developed a system that works so well for you, then doing more like quality work works out better in the long run,
Definitely,
I
I
think.
completely agree.
Let's talk a little bit about your long form. So, you obviously are very successful with your short form content. And now I see that you're making even more long form content. And as many content creators know, it's not always the easiest thing to do to be successful on both platforms, or not platforms, but like,
Verticals. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And you've done both. So let's throw numbers out there for just a second. Your most successful long form video already has 6.5 million views, and you
Wow.
just posted it like within a year, which is crazy. Not only are you super good with your short form, but you've also figured it out for your long form. So, my question for you is, can you tell me about some of the challenges that you may have faced with coming up with a system to create these successful long form videos?
Yeah, long form is such a like difficult thing. Like when I first came into long form, I did not know what was the difference between a short form idea or a long form idea. So that was like my first struggle. And
Mhm.
sometimes I would like the first way I approached it was like I'd come up with an idea, and I was like, if I didn't know, I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just make it a long form because it could probably be long. And then like on top of that, then I would just extend information because it's like, oh well, if it's a long form, it needs to be really long. So let me just add in a bunch of
Yeah.
fluff. And that is like obviously like the wrong way to approach it versus now, my favorite way to approach it and has been, it's an effective approach mainly for short form creators moving into long form, is treating one long form as multiple shorts in one
Yeah.
video. So for example, I made a video where I sold my everything my family owns until they noticed, and
That one's
yeah,
hilarious.
it's funny.
It's
And
so funny.
basically, it's a bunch of shorts in one, because
Yeah.
in one short, like one short is would be like me selling my mom's Crocs, right? And telling the story
Mhm.
about like, oh, I just stole my mom's Crocs and I went to this buyer or this seller, I tried to sell it to this person and eventually I sold it for this amount of money. Like that's a short. But basically the
Yeah.
long form was that with her Crocs, with my dad's glasses, with my grandma's clothes, and it's just a bunch
Mhm.
of shorts back to back to back stitched together for one big story, and that has been really effective for converting from short to long form.
That's really interesting. So you would say what you're saying is, like, just a bunch of different shorts, in one long form, so you're kind of creating not multiple stories, but, like, less fluff and more, like, additions to the story, I guess, instead of, like, one product or one item, it's, like, multiple items, but to tell the same story.
Exactly, yeah, a bit based
Yeah.
videos.
Would you say that you have to kind of use more creative juices for creating a long form than a short form? Is one a little bit harder than the other?
Yeah, I mean, long form is definitely harder as far as
Mhm.
like creating storytelling content. It's very tough because it I think
Yeah.
it's tough. I mean, they're both tough. Long form is just a lot more time consuming, which I would say definitely makes it more difficult for sure.
I guess that makes sense. It's longer, so you're like, "Now I have to put more work into it."
It's
Interesting,
it's it's
interesting.
interesting though because like with my recent long form, I actually found it was easier to make it a long form than it would have been to be a short, just because like it was more of it was more of a video. It was a vlog, and but when it comes to
Yeah.
vlogs, it's like it's much easier on long forms than it actually is on shorts because it's like how do I tell what I did in the last 12 hours in 60 seconds?
Yeah.
Like so yeah.
Interesting. I mean, you could do, like, every 10 seconds, it's, like, a different thing, but
Yeah,
then
but then
it
it's
will
like
probably
what is
just
it's
feel like too
whiplash.
much.
Like yeah.
Yeah. Like, you're just like, "What's going on here?" There's so much information that my brain can't fully process what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
So, my next question, I watched a recent interview of yours, and you talked about how you film everything by yourself, with the help of your parents, but you do have some people that do help you, so, like, some team members. What do they do specifically, and when did you decide that you needed some extra hands?
Oh yeah. So I grew the channel to 1 million subscribers completely by myself. To
Crazy.
this point, like, my parents were supportive, but they weren't really hands-on with helping. So
Mhm,
the first person who started helping, well, for one, um, I unintentionally realized I needed help when I was like I realized I would want to film videos like in public and I would need a cameraman or if I
mhm.
needed like a second character. It started with my mom. I was like, "Oh, can you just drive me and hold the camera or like, oh, could you just like play the second character or just like do this, like it started with like light tasks until eventually like
Yeah.
people fell in love with her and I was like, "Oh no, she needs to be like a main character in the channel." So it started with my like the viewers loving my mom and then now
Mhm.
that meant my dad had to be the one who held the camera. And then after
Yeah,
that, we were filming a lot more content because there's just the three of us who are just filming a bunch of content. And now we need an editor. So then I ended up getting
yeah.
an editor, and then I realized if I want to make more content, I need more editors. But if we need more editors, we need someone who leads those editors and teach them all these
Mm,
storytelling techniques. So my original editor ended up becoming the channel like strategist and just overall the head of
mhm,
the channel, just like overseeing the logistics. Um, and wow, this is actually kind of complicated, but basically, long story short is my parents are helping me, and I have two assistant editors, one head editor who also helps with other logistical things, such as like what cameras we should buy, or if we need a
mhm.
drone, or things that are more technological, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and
I mean,
strategy
your
as well.
channel is growing so fast. It's crazy though that you did so much on your own. Like in the beginning, you said before you hit a million or within like 0 to a million, it was just you. That's crazy. Um, it shows that you don't really need anybody. But as you grow, you kind of need some extra help if you want to continue to grow, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. At the time, I was posting once
yeah.
a week, and now I'm up to 2 to 3, basically.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
goal is to like, I want to eventually post daily, and to post daily, I think I'm gonna need more editors, and also
Yeah.
probably someone who comes up with ideas because I'm doing all the ideas, and it takes so much time. Like it takes all
I
day to come up
bet.
with one idea.
It's like so much brain power. You're like, "Oh god, my brain needs a little bit of a break." Kinda give some of those tasks to other people. Yeah, I mean, it's great that you have a team to really help you out. I mean, even though you've done so well on your own, having extra hands always helps. I wanted to talk about Vid Summit really quick with you.
Yes.
So, I one of your talks at Vid Summit, it was the closing, I believe. You spoke about how you first became obsessed with YouTube at 8 years old. So if my math is correct, it's been 11 years, which is a very long time to be like really passionate about something. So at any point during that journey, did you ever feel doubtful about becoming a full-time content creator?
Oh my goodness. Like the entire time. Like the entire journey has been
Yeah.
well, not doubtful of like is this something I like, but doubtful of is this something that's going to work. But yeah, like I made videos like on YouTube up till like I got into high school. When I was in middle school, a couple of people made fun of me, and when I was in high
Mhm.
school, I was still making videos, but I never posted them on YouTube. So
Yeah.
during that period, I thought like this isn't real. Like none of my videos ever gotten like it never got views, but I was still passionate at making videos. So I literally made so many videos and it would unlisted on YouTube. Like these videos are still unlisted, but maybe one
Yeah.
day they'll see the light of day.
I mean, that would be very exciting to
That'd be
see like where
crazy.
Jenny Hoyos started off.
Yeah, but when I graduated high school and I didn't have to deal with anyone anymore. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do YouTube. No
Mhm.
one's gonna make fun of me now.
Yeah.
I was like, no one's gonna see it. And next thing you know, millions of people are seeing it.
Yeah. Just
So
going from that transition, you're like, "Oh, no one's gonna see it," and then all of a sudden, "Oh, wait, people are actually watching the things that I'm making," which is incredible.
it's crazy. When I started my channel, like it just shocks me. I did not have the intention of like actually becoming a YouTuber. Like sometimes it
Yeah.
shocks me. Like take me 3 years ago, I when I started my channel, my goal was not like, well, not that I didn't want to be a YouTuber. I was just making
Yeah.
videos to make videos, if that makes sense.
Because you
It's crazy.
enjoyed the
Yes,
process of
because I
making
just
the
enjoyed
videos.
making videos.
I feel like that's the most important thing, because if you don't like making videos, then why make videos? Like, yeah, you can build an audience and, like, make money, but I feel like you could only go so far with that. Like, eventually you're gonna burn out and be like, "I really don't wanna do this, and what do I do now because now I have all these people counting on me."
No, yeah, I definitely agree. The passion of creating videos, like, it comes first.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you have that. I mean, you can see it in your videos. Otherwise, I'm like, "Wow, you're a great actor for pretending like you really like making videos." Like, it looks like you like them, so if you told me, "Hey, Emily, like, I really don't like making videos, but I do."
Imagine.
I'd be like, "Your incredible Hollywood needs to hire you right now."
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you just one more question, before I let you go. What is the best advice you would give someone just starting out on YouTube or just content creating in general?
I would say to find your unique thing that's gonna separate you from the crowd.
Mhm.
Um, right now, like I would say, or let me think like how to word. I mean, I've been through so many niches actually. So, but okay. um, One thing that helped me stick out on my channel was being a cheapskate. There's not a lot of people on YouTube who are okay with showing that they are cheap and don't
Mhm.
have money. Like when I was like first making my videos, like I really honed in the fact that I don't have money. Like
Yeah.
I was like guys, like I'm just trying to survive. I'm using the McDonald's app to get these $1 meals. Like I was just honest. And it's funny because on
Yeah.
YouTube it's the opposite. People want to show that they have money, and because I was showing that I don't have money and I'm just like, the people who are watching probably, or the people who could be watching, um, I think that made me stick out because there wasn't a lot of people who were sharing budget friendly adventures, basically.
Yeah, I think you did an incredible job with that because, like you just mentioned, YouTube is like, let me show you the most extravagant things that I have and like continue to get. And you're like, I'm going to become successful at this, but doing kind of the opposite. And you did. Like, you really made it happen, and I think, like, it's very relatable. I think that's one of the things that really made me like your videos was they were so genuine and relatable. Because like, I don't have a lot of money either, but it's like, "Oh, now I can watch a YouTuber and actually feel somehow, like, connected with this person," rather than we all love, like, our Mr. Beast videos, but it's like, that is so far from, like, my everyday life. So I really like that you did that, and you did it so well.
I love it. It's funny because I mean I took a weakness and made it a strength because when you're making
Exactly.
videos, like when I first started, I was like, oh, like I was like, I was working with a iPhone X like 2 years ago. I had an iPhone X. That's like from five
Yeah.
years ago. Like it was like really bad quality. I'm like, well, I have an old iPhone. I don't have a microphone. I don't have I don't have anything to film. Like at the time we didn't we it's funny because I made a video about like buying my mom a car and people were probably like going crazy. But before that, we didn't have a
Mhm.
car. Like we had a car, but it was broken. Like I'm being
Yeah.
so fruit. Like it's like I think it's just about turning your weaknesses into strengths, and I think
Yeah.
highlighting that will make a yeah, it definitely makes a big difference.
I love that. I really do. I'm sure the people watching this are gonna be like, "Oh, man, Jenny is so relatable and
Oh,
genuine."
I love that. I
Yeah, I
hope.
mean, you really are.
I hope.
Well, I don't wanna take up too much more of your time. We covered a lot. I'm
This is
had
good.
such a good time.
This is really
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I had such a good time talking with you, and I'm so excited to see, like, how you progress and, like, go through your journey within, like, the next couple of years, even the rest of this year. So it was really great talking to you.
Amazing. Yeah, I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me. If anyone
Yeah.
has any questions or wants to work together, feel free to email team@jennyhoyos.com. And yeah, you can catch me on YouTube, just Jenny
Yeah.
Hoyos.
I'll put the information down below as well for anybody who's interested.